Life has a way of testing us. One moment you're at peace, and the next, someone says something cruel. Unexpected problems hit you from all sides, and you're left feeling overwhelmed. It feels like the chaos never takes a break. But what if I told you there's a way to rise above it all, not by running away, but by remaining completely unshaken, no matter what comes your way? In today's video, we'll explore 10 transformative Buddhist principles that can help you navigate life's storms with grace. You'll learn how to transform insults into inner strength, free yourself from emotional traps, and find peace even when the world around you is loud and chaotic. If you're tired of letting other people or difficult moments dictate your emotions, stay with me, because this might just be the turning point you've been looking for. Principle 1. Transforming insults into inner strength. Buddhism teaches us that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The same applies to insults. When someone says something hurtful, we usually take it personally. But here's a powerful shift. What if that insult has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them? Think of an insult as a gift someone tries to hand you. If you don't accept it, it never becomes yours. Instead of reacting, take a breath. Pause. Recognize the moment for what it is, a test of your emotional maturity. This is your chance to practice patience, compassion, and non-attachment. In that space between the insult and your response lies your power. Buddhist masters remind us that people speak from their inner world. A person filled with anger will project anger. A person in pain will speak from their wounds. So why take it personally? Their insult is a mirror of their suffering, not a reflection of your worth. Next time someone insults you, try this. Ask yourself quietly, what is this moment trying to teach me? Maybe it's an invitation to strengthen your inner calm. Maybe it's a call to respond with kindness instead of ego. Every insult becomes an opportunity to understand yourself, to rise above the noise, and to become emotionally invincible. And here's the deeper truth. The more you master this, the more insults lose their power. You stop being a puppet to the world's negativity. You become grounded like a mountain, still and strong, even when storms pass overhead. Principle 2. Don't let others control your inner weather. Imagine handing someone the remote control to your emotions, allowing their words to decide how you feel, how you react, how your day unfolds. That's what we do every time we let someone's comment ruin our mood. But Buddhism teaches us a radical idea. You are the sole guardian of your inner peace. What someone else says about you is merely a projection of their world, not a definition of who you are. People will speak. They will judge, praise, misunderstand, or even attack. But you get to choose whether those words have power over you. Think about this. If someone calls you worthless, does that make it true? Only if you believe it. Their opinion is not your truth. Their negativity doesn't need to become your burden. This doesn't mean you ignore all feedback, but it does mean that you filter it through awareness, not insecurity. Ask yourself, why did those words affect me? What part of me still needs healing? Often, what stings the most are the things we haven't made peace with within ourselves. So instead of reacting, reflect. Is this a mirror revealing an unhealed wound, or just noise not worth your energy? The moment you stop needing approval or fearing judgment, you become emotionally free. You stop being a slave to outside opinions and start anchoring yourself in something far deeper. Your own understanding, your own calm, your own truth. And that is one of the greatest freedoms we can ever achieve. Principle 3. Hold yourself to excellence. Offer grace to others. Buddhism reminds us that the path to peace is found not in control, but in discipline and compassion. So here's a simple yet powerful principle. Be strict with yourself and gentle with others. Hold yourself to high standards, not out of ego or perfectionism, but because you value growth. Commit to excellence in your thoughts, actions, and presence. Be the kind of person you admire, not for applause, but for integrity. But when it comes to others, Let go of the urge to control or criticize. Everyone is walking their own path. Some are just beginning, some are stumbling, and some are carrying burdens you can't even see. So when someone makes a mistake, whether it's a coworker missing a deadline or a friend letting you down, pause. Offer grace. Kindness doesn't excuse poor behavior, but it does recognize humanity. The beauty of this balance is profound. By demanding the best from yourself while offering others understanding, you create peace within and around you. You rise in your own energy while lifting others instead of judging them. Remember, compassion doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. And wisdom knows that people don't grow through shame, but through space, support, and time. Principle 4. See every encounter as a teacher. Every moment in life has something to teach us. Every person you meet, whether they uplift you or challenge you, is a potential teacher on your path to awakening. When someone is kind, they teach you gratitude. When someone is cruel, they teach you patience. When someone misunderstands you, they offer you a lesson in clarity or surrender. Instead of reacting to people, try observing them. Ask yourself, what is life trying to show me through this interaction? Maybe you're learning to speak up. Maybe you're learning to let go. This simple mindset shift, from judgment to curiosity, transforms every experience. Difficult conversations no longer feel like battles, but as mirrors revealing where you still need growth or healing. Even the most unpleasant people can reveal your own hidden attachments, triggers, or expectations. When you begin to see them this way, you take back your power. You no longer walk through life as a victim of circumstance. You become a seeker of wisdom. This is one of the most liberating truths in Buddhist thought. There are no wasted moments, only missed lessons. Principle 5. Emotions are visitors. Let them come and go. Think of your emotions like weather passing through the sky, sometimes a storm, sometimes sunshine, but never permanent. Anger, sadness, fear, they rise, they fall, and they pass. The suffering comes not from the emotion itself, but from clinging to it, from identifying with it. When you feel the grip of anger or anxiety tightening, pause, breathe deeply, become aware of the emotion without resisting it. Say to yourself, this is not who I am, this is just passing energy. In Buddhist teachings, we're reminded that emotions are like waves. If you don't chase them or push them away, they rise and fall naturally. Holding on turns them into suffering. Letting go turns them into wisdom. The practice here is not to suppress your emotions, but to observe them without becoming them. This is the essence of mindfulness, to remain aware even in the midst of intensity. Over time, you'll begin to notice that what once overwhelmed you now flows through you with far less turbulence. And with every emotional wave you ride without resistance, you cultivate deeper calm, resilience, and understanding. Principle 6. Build inner strength. Become emotionally untouchable. What if you realize that no one, not a single person, can hurt you emotionally without your permission? This isn't denial or detachment, it's power. Real power. The kind that comes not from dominating others, but from mastering yourself. When someone betrays you, insults you, or lets you down, the pain only penetrates if you accept it as your truth. But you are not someone's betrayal. You are not their opinion. You are not their mistake. In Buddhist thought, true strength lies not in avoiding pain, but in choosing your response to it. You might feel the sting, but you don't have to become the wound. You can acknowledge the hurt, then gently release it, refusing to let it nest in your heart. This is emotional invincibility, not coldness but clarity. You realize your peace is yours to protect. Your inner world is yours to rule. So when chaos swirls around you, stay grounded in that inner silence. Let others throw words and actions like stones. You don't have to pick them up. You don't have to carry them. The moment you stop giving people control over your emotions, you become unshakable. Not because the world has changed, but because you have become the still center within the storm. Principle 7. Accept what is, and set yourself free. One of the greatest sources of suffering is our refusal to accept what is. We cling to how things should be, how people should act, how life should unfold. But reality doesn't always follow our script, and when it doesn't, resistance arises, and with it, pain. Buddhism teaches that freedom begins with acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up, it means seeing clearly. It's the courage to look at life exactly as it is, without flinching, without fighting. When things fall apart, when plans crumble, when someone lets you down, pause. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "Can I allow this moment to be just as it is?" Acceptance is not passivity. It's not about becoming a doormat or surrendering your power. It's about directing your energy toward what you can change, rather than wasting it on resisting what you cannot. Think of a river. You can exhaust yourself trying to swim upstream, or you can flow with it, learning, adapting, growing stronger. Resistance tightens your chest. Acceptance softens it. Resistance blinds you. Acceptance opens your eyes. When you accept the reality of this moment, fully, without judgment, you unlock inner peace. Even painful moments carry wisdom, and even setbacks can lead to breakthroughs. Let go of the urge to control everything. Trust in the unfolding. Trust that life, with all its twists and turns, is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, more awake. Because the truth is, you don't need life to be perfect to be at peace. You just need to stop fighting what already is. And in that space of acceptance, you'll find freedom, clarity, and the quiet strength to move forward. Principle 8. Detachment, the quiet strength that sets you free. Most people misunderstand detachment. They hear the word and think it means becoming cold, distant, or uncaring. But in Buddhism, detachment is not about turning away from life. It's about learning how to live fully without becoming a prisoner of your emotions, desires, or expectations. True detachment is emotional freedom. It means you care deeply, but you're not controlled by the outcome. You give your all, but your peace doesn't depend on whether things go your way. You love others, but you don't lose yourself in them. Let's say you're working hard toward a goal, a promotion, a dream project, or a personal milestone. Naturally, you want it to succeed. But when you're attached to the outcome, your happiness rises and falls with every twist in the journey. If things don't go as planned, frustration creeps in. Disappointment grows. You suffer, not because of the situation itself, but because of your attachment to how you wanted it to be. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start living with balance. You still work hard, still love, still pursue your goals. But you do so from a place of inner peace, not desperation. And this also applies to your relationships. You can love someone with all your heart and still hold space for your own well-being. Detachment means you support, not control. You give love, but don't demand it back. You stop tying your emotional state to someone else's choices. This is how love matures. It becomes deeper, freer, and more compassionate, not based on need, but on presence. Detachment is also your armor in a world obsessed with material things. We live in a culture that convinces us happiness lives in what we own, our cars, our homes, our gadgets. But these things are temporary. They age, they break, they fade. When you base your self-worth on what you possess, you're setting yourself up for suffering. But when you practice detachment, you shift your focus inward. You enjoy what you have, but you're not enslaved by it. You can let go and still feel whole. The same goes for approval. When you're attached to praise, your sense of worth is constantly bouncing up and down. But when you detach from needing others' validation, you find peace within. You stop living for likes and start living in alignment with your truth. To begin practicing detachment, watch your emotional triggers. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Am I too attached to something I can't control? Then breathe. Let go, even just a little. Detachment is not something you master in a day. It's a daily practice, a quiet strength that grows slowly. But over time, it will give you a profound sense of calm, even in chaos. Because when you stop clinging, you start living. When you're no longer chasing, you can be still. And when you're not ruled by what you want to happen, you can finally embrace what is. That's the gift of detachment, the ability to walk through life with an open heart and a steady mind, unshaken, unchained, and truly free. Principle 9. Make self-care a sacred responsibility. Self-care isn't something reserved for rare moments of rest. It's a sacred daily ritual, not a luxury. It's the very ground you stand on, the silent strength beneath your ability to face life with peace, clarity, and compassion. Caring for yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. When your inner world is balanced, your outer world begins to reflect that calm. But when you're depleted, even the smallest demands feel heavy. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and life will always ask you to pour. To make self-care a true priority is to regularly honor what restores you, what brings your mind back to center, your body back to strength, and your spirit back to stillness. That may be as simple as eating nourishing food, allowing yourself deep sleep, or moving your body in ways that awaken energy. Physical care is often overlooked, yet it's deeply tied to emotional resilience. A tired, neglected body often becomes a restless, reactive mind. Just as important is your emotional and mental well-being. You must find space for what lifts you, whether it's time spent in silence, reading a meaningful book, walking through nature, or simply pausing to breathe with awareness. Meditation is not an escape, it's a return. A few quiet minutes with yourself can dissolve layers of tension and noise that build up without notice. Through meditation or mindfulness, we begin to soften the chaos within. We create space where reaction becomes reflection, where stress meets stillness. It's this space that allows us to move through life not just with action, but with intention. And perhaps one of the most underrated forms of self-care is learning to say no, not with guilt, but with grace. So many feel drained not because they do too little, but because they say yes too often. Protecting your time and energy isn't closing yourself off. It's preserving your strength for what truly matters. Whether that means stepping away from toxic relationships, limiting overstimulation, or reducing commitments that no longer align, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. Mental health is another pillar of care. Stress is subtle. It creeps in quietly and accumulates quickly. Don't wait for a breaking point to take it seriously. Sometimes, healing means reaching out to a therapist, a mentor, or someone who listens without judgment. Opening up doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They wait, they build, and eventually, they speak through anxiety, burnout, or disconnection. Whether it's writing in a journal, confiding in a loved one, or simply admitting to yourself what hurts, acknowledgement is the first step toward peace. Self-care is personal. What restores one person may not work for another. That's why it's important to check in with yourself regularly. What do I need right now? That small question invites you to reconnect. For some, joy might be found in gardening or painting. For others, in movement, solitude, or laughter. Your care is yours to define. And at the heart of all this is self-compassion. The world can be harsh enough. Don't add to it by being unkind to yourself. Allow space for rest. Forgive your missteps. Release the need for perfection. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to be human. Balance is found not in doing everything perfectly, but in knowing when to stop, when to breathe, and when to simply be. When self-care becomes your foundation, challenges no longer shake you, they pass through you. Like a tree rooted deep, you bend but do not break. You respond rather than react. You live with a strength that is gentle and a peace that holds steady. Treat self-care as the base upon which your entire life stands. Because when that base is firm, you can withstand the storm, not by resisting it, but by remaining grounded as it passes. By caring for yourself daily, you become more available for others, not out of obligation, but out of wholeness. You give not what you don't have, but what overflows from within. This isn't about avoiding life's duties. It's about sustaining the energy to meet them with presence, not pressure. So honor yourself. Whether it's through stillness or movement, solitude or connection, boundary or openness, let your self-care be your daily act of wisdom. Let it remind you, peace begins with you. Principle 10. Tap into the transformative power of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it's a powerful practice. When cultivated consistently, it becomes a lens through which we see the world differently. It transforms our perception from one of lack to one of abundance, from stress to serenity, from striving to sufficiency. At its core, gratitude is about recognizing the gifts that are already present in your life, some obvious, some subtle. And it's not only reserved for the good times. In fact, true gratitude deepens when we learn to find value even in difficulty. The Buddhist path teaches us that all of life, both the joy and the suffering, is part of our awakening, and gratitude becomes the bridge that helps us accept both with a peaceful heart. When you're in the middle of hardship, it's natural to dwell on what's missing or what went wrong. But here's the quiet power of gratitude. It doesn't deny reality, it simply widens your view. You can be in pain and still recognize something good. You can be uncertain and still give thanks for the breath that moves through you, the sunlight on your face, or the lesson within the struggle. One simple but profound question to ask yourself is, what can I appreciate about this moment? Not just when life feels smooth, but especially when it doesn't. Maybe it's a friend who listens, a warm meal, a quiet moment between storms. Even if the light is faint, gratitude helps you find it. And this shift is not just spiritual, it's biological. Studies show that when we focus on gratitude, the brain releases serotonin and dopamine, chemicals associated with happiness, relaxation, and emotional resilience. Gratitude literally changes your brain's wiring, training you to notice the positive more often and reducing your tendency to over-focus on stress or negativity. It's a simple practice, but not always easy. That's why consistency is key. One of the most powerful habits you can form is keeping a gratitude journal. Every morning or evening, take a moment to write down 3 to 5 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be grand. In fact, noticing the small things, a kind smile, clean water, a bird's song, deepens your appreciation for daily life. Over time, this trains your mind to look for what's going well. And that shift builds emotional strength. You're no longer thrown off by every small setback because you've developed an inner reservoir of contentment. Gratitude becomes your anchor, a quiet strength you carry into every situation. And the ripple effect doesn't end with you. Gratitude nurtures connection. When you take time to acknowledge someone's kindness, support, or presence, you strengthen the invisible thread between hearts. Saying thank you isn't just polite, it's healing. It tells another person, you matter. I see you. In relationships, this creates trust. It softens tension. Even when things are difficult, gratitude can help you remember why you care, what you value in the other person, and what's worth holding on to. It shifts your focus from flaws to gifts, from blame to understanding. Gratitude also plays a role in healing the past. Many of us carry regrets over missed chances, lost time, or pain we've experienced. While we can't rewrite the past, we can choose how we carry it. Gratitude helps us reframe the narrative. Instead of dwelling on what broke, we begin to see what it taught us. Every hardship carries a lesson, and when you're grateful for the wisdom that came through the wound begins to close. From a Buddhist perspective, this is a form of liberation, being free not by escaping suffering, but by transforming your relationship with it. Gratitude becomes the alchemy that turns pain into growth. It also brings you back to the present moment. So often, we chase what's next, or mourn what's gone, forgetting to honor what is. Gratitude grounds you. It's the voice that says, this moment is enough. Even if things aren't perfect, there's always something here to appreciate. a breath, a heartbeat, the stillness before action. And perhaps one of the most important gifts of gratitude is resilience. Life is full of uncertainty. But when you're rooted in thankfulness, you become harder to shake. You may still bend under pressure, but you don't break. You recover quicker, not because life is easier, but because you've trained your mind to focus on what supports you rather than what scares you. So begin today, not with a grand gesture, but with a quiet moment of reflection. Notice what's here, what's working, what's beautiful. Practice gratitude as a daily ritual, not just when things go your way, but especially when they don't. That's when it holds the most power. Gratitude won't remove life's problems, but it will shift how you meet them, with calm, courage, and clarity. And that's where transformation begins. Conclusion. In a world that often pulls us toward chaos, it's the quiet practices, like self-care and gratitude, that bring us back to peace. They may seem simple, but their impact is profound. When you begin to honor your well-being and appreciate life as it is, you unlock a strength that doesn't depend on circumstances. It rises from within. So ask yourself, what can I do today to care for myself? What can I notice right now that deserves my thanks? These aren't just habits. They're gateways to a calmer, wiser, and more grounded life. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like the video. It helps more people find this kind of peace. Share it with someone who might need a gentle reminder today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more teachings rooted in Buddhist wisdom. Practical, peaceful, and always here when you need them. Let's walk this path together. One mindful breath, one kind thought, one grateful heart at a time.